It's widely known in the world of marketing these days that positive customer testimonials can help encourage new customers to make some kind of conversion you're looking for. This basically works through the psychological principle of social proof, which states that when people are in a situation and they're not sure either what's the most appropriate action or what's the most beneficial action, we might tend to look around at the behaviors of other people, see what they're doing, because we tend to believe in truth in numbers or strength in numbers, right? Whatever the most people seem to be doing, we kind of use a mental shortcut and say, well, that's probably the right thing to do in this scenario. So you can strategically place positive customer testimonials at different places on your website where you might be asking for a sale, because anybody who's kind of on the fence about it might read a positive testimonial and that might push them over the edge into go ahead and purchasing or making the transaction, taking the deal. So, for example, for one of our clients, which is a mental health counseling center, they have this contact page on their website. And here's a form that they can fill out and submit the form. And there's also a phone number there, as well as some awards recognition of positive service, basically. And I recently went through their website and gathered a bunch of customer testimonials and added them to some different places where conversions were possible. And so one of them was this contact page, and I thought, well, I'll go ahead and put these testimonials at the bottom of the page just in case anybody scrolls through the page, isn't quite sure if they want to fill out the form. These testimonials might win them over. But then I started thinking, well, I wonder if they would be better if they were actually at the top of the page. Now, I had a couple different thoughts about this. One, somebody could hit the page, immediately see those testimonials, and then be really motivated to go ahead and fill out the form. But I also conceived that it could be possible that if someone was clicking over to the contact page, ready to reach out, and then these testimonials were the first thing that they saw rather than the form, maybe they would actually click away and think, oh, there's not a form here, or something like that, especially on mobile. So this is the desktop view right here. On mobile, things get put in one column, so having those testimonials up here above the form would push the form even further down, potentially decreasing the chance that they would actually fill out that form. So, like all questions like this we have at Tetra Prime, I decided to run a test. Basically, we use Thrive themes through WordPress for this website, so I did a split test through Thrive. So the first version was what I have here with this intro blurb, the form. There's also a phone number and these accolades over here, and I left the testimonials at the bottom. The second version was what you can see here, where I have those testimonials above the form. And so I used Thrive's built-in split test feature to split traffic to the page. 50% went to this version and 50% went to this version. And I measured to see how many people from both variations actually submitted the contact form. And so actually here's what we saw in Thrive. I ran this for almost a month, and you can see that now the top row there is the page with the testimonial at the bottom. The second row is the page with the testimonial at the top above the form. So you can see that the version with the testimonial below the form had a 13% form conversion rate, 6 form entries out of 46 visitors. The version with the testimonials above the form had a 6.25% conversion rate, only 3 form submissions out of 48 visitors. And so clearly the version of the page with the testimonials below the form performed better. Now, to look at statistical significance, I went ahead and used this chi-squared calculator. Shout out to Neil Patel for having this handy tool on his website. And you'll see that the version with the testimonials below the form performed over 100% better, with 87% confidence of statistical significance, which is, it certainly could be higher. If you look at actual scientific studies, they don't consider it conclusive unless it's 95% certain. But 87 is still pretty good, and for me, I'm content with that number to say that this version performs better than the other version. So the takeaway here is that consumer testimonials are really helpful. We know this from lots of different research from both psychologists and marketers over the years, but it can matter. The placement can matter. So this is definitely something that you would want to test for your own business, your own organization, your own website, specific pages. But this particular experiment certainly seems to indicate that interrupting a website visitor's access to a contact form with testimonials probably actually isn't the best idea. Maybe you should just go ahead and let them get right to that form or contact info. Otherwise, they might lose interest or get confused and click away without ever closing that deal.